Welcome back to Morning on Merritt Street on this Monday morning. Hopefully your day is off to a great start. We have news that works for your health right now. Listen to this. 6 vitamins and supplements that you may be taking every day could be causing serious liver damage.
Yes, this is according to a new University of Michigan study, and they include things you know and probably love. Turmeric, green tea, ashwagandha, black cohosh, garcinia, cambogia, and red yeast rice. These supplements are used to treat everything from arthritis pain to boosting energy. Joining us now is board-certified internal medicine Dr. Frank Contessessa. Frank, good to have you this morning. A lot of people might be confused by this. Look, I mean, these herbs and supplements have been used by many cultures for thousands of years for their healing properties. So are we talking about how they're mass-produced? I mean, what's triggering this warning?
Well, I think this is an important story, Dominique, and it's great to be with you guys today. You know, I have patients who literally take handfuls of supplements every day. I kind of warn people a little bit. I'm not a huge supplement person. I think it's actually better to get your nutrients from the food that you eat. But there are uses for these things. I think the message needs to be, you can't just take these things without regard for dosing. The brands that you buy are important. And it's important to know that these types of supplements are not regulated by the FDA. They're not regulated and checked, so you don't know where they're coming from. But people need to be careful about what they're taking, because you can take things. You might be taking Advil in addition to these things. You might drink too much. So there are other factors that go into these supplements, not just taking them individually.
Yeah, we know that some people are actually taking them as well under the direction of their integrative health doctors and other health professionals. So what are some of the warning signs or symptoms that people need to be looking out for if we are using some of these supplements?
Well, when it comes to liver damage, you know, a lot of times there are no symptoms early on. So you might not know these things unless you get a routine blood test just, from your doctor. But things as it progresses, the most common thing would be jaundice, which is yellowing of the skin, the white part of the eye, the sclera of the eye. It's called icterus. And that's when your liver is overproducing a chemical called bilirubin, and it turns our skin and our eyes yellow. Fatigue, nausea, lack of energy, things like that. Anytime you're not feeling yourself, you should always check with your doctor.
You know, researchers blame mislabeling and lack of government regulation for the problem. That was to your point earlier. The government's been trying to regulate and control the supplement industry for years. So is this another attempt at that? Or do supplement companies really need to step up and be held more accountable?
Well, I think both. I think the government has a role here. But I think people have to be their own watchdog. I think people have to be aware of the brands that they use, discount brands. It could come from China and other countries. We don't know what's in them. And it's interesting in some of the research that I did that a lot of these brands were actually checked. People took them to labs and had them analyzed, and they did not match up with what was in the label. There was either more or less of the ingredient, and then other ingredients that just didn't match up with what was on the label. So people have to be careful. And again, the best thing is to get your nutrients from your food.
Yeah. All wise advice indeed. And for some of the people, doctor, I want to ask, who depend on some of these vitamins and some of these supplements, what are some of the alternatives that you recommend, or where can they go to find some of those alternatives?
Well, you mentioned integrative physicians before. And again, you have to be a little bit, I'm not an integrative physician. I'm an allopathic physician. I do have an open mind, though, with some of these things. So you have to look at reviews for these types of practitioners, because I've seen people come in with lists of things, and I don't even know what they are. And I've had people ask me, look at my list of supplements. What do you think of these? And my honest answer is, I don't know, because there haven't really been studied. The problem is there's not good data. If you ask me about a particular drug, a legitimate pharmaceutical, I can show you studies that were done, that the safety and efficacy. But there aren't such studies for a lot of these supplements. So it's impossible for me to even know. I tell them, listen, this could be the greatest thing on the planet, or it could cause liver failure. I just don't know. So people have to really be their own watchdogs for this.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Frank Contessessa, thank you very much for your time and for breaking this down. And as always, consult with your doctor or nutritionist before taking any supplements.
Thank you, Frank. We appreciate it. Still to come this morning.